No one in the orbital city of Halcyon Station spoke to the alien woman. They didn't even look at her. She sat every day on the lowest level of the station's promenade ring, where artificial sunlight dimmed and flickered, where hydroponic mist leaked from broken vents and pooled at her feet. Her skin was the color of deep ocean glass, translucent and softly luminous, as though a galaxy of tiny stars drifted beneath it. Her eyes were vertical slits of silver white. Thin tendrils, like strands of liquid crystal, moved gently from her scalp, sensing the air. She was beautiful in a way that unsettled the human mind, and she was avoided in a way that made loneliness into a physical weight. No one knew her name. The station registries simply listed her as unclassified non-human refugee, species unknown. Rumors spread faster than data across Halcyon Station. They said she carried a psychic contagion. They said touching her caused madness. They said she once screamed, and the lights went out for 3 days. They said her species consumed emotions. None of it was confirmed, but fear rarely needed confirmation. So the station passed her like water flowing around stone. Until one day a human stopped. Elias Rourke had never planned to be on Halcyon Station. Former Deep Space Survey engineer. Former pilot. Former everything really. A failed expedition had left him with a shattered knee, a discharge record, and nowhere to go but the crowded, aging station at the edge of civilized space. He walked with a slight limp. People avoided that too. Weakness made others uncomfortable. On his 3rd week on the station, he saw the alien woman sitting alone beneath the broken artificial sun. Unlike everyone else, he didn't feel fear. Only curiosity and a recognition of shared exile. He approached. A merchant passing by hissed, "Don't go near her, friend. No good comes of it." Elias nodded politely and kept walking. When he stood before her, the alien woman raised her gaze. Her silver eyes studied him with slow intensity, like tides measuring the shore. Neither spoke. Finally, Elias sat down beside her. For the first time in months, she wasn't alone. Days passed, then weeks. Elias brought her food from the station dispensaries. She didn't eat it at first, merely held it in her strange hands, absorbing warmth. Eventually, she tasted small portions. Slowly, cautiously, he spoke to her, told stories of survey missions, of stars uncharted, of worlds colored in colors no artist could replicate. He never knew if she understood, but she listened, always listening. Other station residents watched from a distance. Whispers grew. "He's infected already. He'll snap soon. He's foolish." Elias ignored them all. One evening, as station night cycle dimmed the lights to violet dusk, Elias noticed something new. The air around her shimmered, like heat rising from stone. "You're afraid," he realized aloud. The alien woman's tendrils stiffened. Her luminous skin dimmed slightly, as though her inner stars were withdrawing. Elias reached out and touched her hand. The station lights flickered. A wave of cold rushed outward. Conversations across the promenade froze. People gasped. Some dropped what they were carrying. One child cried. But nothing else happened. No explosion. No scream. No madness. Only silence. The alien woman's hand was warm. Softer than expected. Fragile. Her eyes widened and a voice echoed. Not through sound, but directly inside Elias's mind. "You do not fear me." He swallowed. "No, I don't. All others do." "Then they're missing out," Elias said gently. For the first time, the alien woman tilted her head, a gesture of curiosity. "I am called Valeth." It was the first name anyone had heard from her. From that day forward, everything changed. Valeth began speaking more often, her thoughts reaching Elias's mind like quiet ripples. She explained that her species, the Lithari, were empathic beings. Their nervous systems interfaced directly with emotional energy. On their homeworld, emotions were shared openly, woven into communal harmony. But among humans, Vailitha's presence overwhelmed untrained minds. She felt their fear, amplified it, reflected it unintentionally. The station's rumor-born terror fed on itself until she became a living storm of dread. Elias, however, had arrived broken, exhausted, emotionally numb. His lack of fear created silence in the storm. For the first time since arriving, Vailith felt peace. Word spread that Elias was not dead, not insane, not corrupted. Curiosity slowly overcame fear. A doctor approached, then a linguist, then station administrators. Through Elias as bridge, Vailith communicated. She explained her people were explorers too, refugees fleeing a cosmic catastrophe consuming their galaxy sector. She had been alone for years, drifting between ports where fear always followed. Halcyon Station had been her last hope. Now it became something more. Months passed. A formal agreement was reached. The station constructed a special habitat where emotional interference fields stabilized Vailitha's empathic aura. Scientists learned. Engineers adapted. Humanity's understanding of emotional energy leaped forward decades in a single year. And through it all, Elias stayed beside her. One evening, standing on the observation deck overlooking the starfield, Vailitha's voice entered his mind once more. "You saved me." Elias shook his head. "No. I just sat down. You touched me." He smiled softly. "Sometimes that's all it takes." Vailith turned toward the stars. "My people will arrive soon. We have transmitted safe coordinates. They will come." Elias stared outward. An entire civilization. Coming because one human refused to fear. "What happens then?" he asked. "We will join our knowledge, our hearts, our sciences, our futures." He chuckled. "Sounds like humanity's biggest upgrade yet." Vailitha's inner stars brightened, the closest thing to laughter her species had. When the Lithari fleet finally arrived, it filled the sky with radiant crystalline vessels. Humanity watched in awe. Panic tried to rise again, but this time they had a choice. They had Vailitha's calm presence, Elias's testimony, and months of proof that fear was the only real danger. First contact proceeded peacefully. Trade, knowledge exchange, cultural merging. Humanity learned emotional energy physics. The Lithari learned human resilience. Together, they forged technologies neither could have achieved alone. Interstellar harmonics drives, emotion-stabilized FTL, empathic diplomacy cores. Halcyon Station became the birthplace of a new alliance. And at its center sat a once-forgotten alien woman, and the human who chose to touch her hand instead of turn away. Years later, history would record the moment simply. The human contact event, the day fear failed. Children in schools would learn the story. A lonely alien, a broken human, a hand extended, a galaxy changed. And on quiet evenings, Vailith and Elias still sat together beneath artificial suns, no longer refugees, no longer outcasts, but pioneers of a future born from a single, fearless touch. In the years that followed, Halcyon Station transformed from a forgotten outpost into the heart of a new era. Humans and Lithari worked side by side, blending science with empathy, logic with emotion. Ships traveled farther than ever before. Conflicts that once ended in violence now ended in understanding. Entire star systems changed course because of what began on a broken promenade under flickering artificial light. Valeth was no longer an outcast. She became an ambassador, a teacher, a living bridge between minds. Elias, once a discarded survey pilot, found purpose greater than any mission he had flown before. Together, they stood as symbols of something rare in the galaxy, trust freely given. And whenever newcomers asked how the alliance began, station elders would tell the story of the alien woman everyone avoided and the human who sat beside her anyway. Because in the end, it was never fleets or weapons that reshaped history. It was a simple choice, to touch the unknown and discover it was not a monster, but a friend.